Theo sat in the car for almost 10 minutes before going inside. The paycheck had arrived that morning. By dinner, most of it was already gone. Rent was paid, the car payment was paid, the minimum credit card payment was paid, groceries were bought, and after everything, there was only $180 left. $180 to fight a debt that had already reached $14,860. Here is the answer before the story goes any further. If debt keeps growing while income stays the same, the solution is not one perfect budgeting trick. The solution is to stop financing a lifestyle the income cannot support. In simple terms, debt goes down only after the lifestyle stops leaking money. That is the part most families avoid. They want peace, but they keep borrowing it. They want the debt to shrink, but they still live as if the debt is not real. Theo did not want to blame his wife. He did not want to shame her, but that night, sitting in the car, he understood something he had been avoiding. Their marriage was not failing because they did not love each other. Their money was failing because the household was pretending. Maya was not careless in the way people imagine careless people. She was not buying luxury bags every weekend. She was not hiding secret vacations. She was not trying to ruin their future. That was what made the problem harder. Most of the spending looked normal. A nicer dinner after a long week. A dress for a family event. New curtains because the apartment felt cold. A toy for their child because Maya hated saying no. A delivery order because both of them were exhausted. Small things. Human things. Things that made life feel less heavy. And Theo understood why she wanted them. Maya had grown up watching her parents fight over every bill. She hated the feeling of lack. She hated old furniture, empty cabinets, and the quiet embarrassment of saying, "We cannot afford that." So when she finally had a home of her own, she wanted it to feel warm, respectable, normal. But the problem was not that Maya wanted a beautiful life. The problem was that they were using debt to rent the feeling of one. And every time they swiped the card to feel normal today, tomorrow became heavier. Every month started the same way. Theo would tell himself this was the month they would make progress. He would open the banking app on payday and feel a small amount of hope. Then the money would begin to disappear. Bills first, then food, then gas, then one unexpected expense, then something Maya said they needed, then something Theo said yes to because he was too tired to argue. By the third week, the plan was already wounded. By the final week, it was dead. The credit card balance was higher. The extra debt payment was gone. And both of them acted like next month would somehow be different. But next month was never different. Because nothing in the household had changed. According to the New York Fed, total household debt in America reached about $18.8 trillion in the first quarter of 2026. And according to Bankrate, average credit card interest rates in June 2026 were around 19.5%. Theo did not know those exact numbers at first, but he knew what interest felt like. It felt like paying and still not escaping. It felt like trying to empty a bathtub while the faucet was still running. That Friday night, Theo did not go inside angry. He went inside quiet. Maya was folding laundry on the couch. Their child was asleep. The apartment looked peaceful from the outside, which somehow made the numbers hurt more. Theo placed a notebook on the kitchen table. Not a spreadsheet, not an app, just paper. Because he needed both of them to see the same truth at the same time. He wrote their monthly take-home pay, then rent, car payment, insurance, utilities, groceries, phone bills, minimum debt payments, gas, child expenses, subscriptions, eating out, personal spending, unexpected spending. Then he circled the number at the bottom, $180. Maya looked at it and said nothing. Theo said, "This is all we have left to attack the debt." Then he wrote the second number, $14,860. That is what we owe. The room became quiet. Not dramatic. Worse. Honest. In early 2026, TransUnion reported that the average credit card debt per borrower was about $6,519. Theo looked at their number and realized they were not dealing with a small inconvenience. They were fighting a balance that could grow faster than their leftover money could attack it. Maya whispered, "So what are you saying?" Theo looked at the notebook, then at her. "I am saying our income belongs to one life, but our spending belongs to another." Theo had rehearsed this conversation many times. In his head, he sounded calm. In real life, his voice shook. He said, "I am not asking you to live a poor life. I am asking us to stop buying a life our income cannot carry." Maya looked away. He could see the sentence hurt her. So he kept going before the hurt turned into defense. "I do not want to police you. I do not want to fight about every receipt. And I do not want you to feel like I am blaming you for all of this. But I am scared. Every month I feel like I am working just to keep the debt from getting worse. And every month the lifestyle pulls us back in." Maya's eyes filled, but she did not interrupt. For the first time, Theo did not soften the truth to protect the evening. He said, "When we spend on the card, it feels like we are buying peace. But we are not. We are moving panic into next month." That sentence finally broke through, because Maya knew it was true. She was not spending because she did not care. She was spending because she was tired of feeling behind. And Theo was not silent because he did not care. He was silent because he was afraid honesty would sound like rejection. The next morning, they did something they had never done before. They stopped talking about what they wished was affordable. They started talking about what was. Theo wrote one phrase at the top of the notebook, the peace number. The peace number was not the dream budget. It was not the perfect life. It was the amount their household needed to protect every month so normal life would not become new debt. Rent, bills, groceries, transportation, minimum debt payments, a small emergency buffer, and one fixed debt payment that moved before lifestyle touched the money. According to Pimmons, 67% of U.S. consumers were living paycheck to paycheck, and nearly 1 in 4 struggled to pay monthly bills. Theo read that later and felt less alone. But he also felt more serious. Because if the household had no breathing room, every normal surprise could become another credit card swipe. So they made a rule: debt payment first, lifestyle second. Not because life should be miserable. Because peace had to be protected before comfort got a vote. Theo and Maya did not become perfect. They became organized. That was different. First, they created a bills account. Rent, utilities, insurance, phones, transportation, and minimum debt payments came from there. That money was not available for feelings. Second, they created a debt account. $500 moved there every payday cycle. Not because $500 was easy, because $180 was not enough. To make $500 possible, they had to find $320 of leakage. Third, they created a food account. Groceries went there. Not delivery, not every craving, food. Fourth, they created personal spending accounts. One for Theo, one for Maya. Same amount, no judgment, no interrogation. If Maya wanted beauty clothes, coffee, or something small that made her feel human, that money was hers. If Theo wanted his own small comfort, that money was his. But when the personal money was gone, it was gone. Not because love ended, because the boundary was real. For the first time, money did not feel like Theo versus Maya. It felt like both of them versus the debt. The first real test came 3 weeks later. Maya had a family event. She wanted a new outfit. Not an expensive one, just something that made her feel confident. The old Theo would have said yes and carried the anxiety alone. The old Maya would have said, "It is not that much." And the card would have solved the emotion while deepening the problem. But this time they opened the accounts. The personal spending account did not have enough. The bills account was not available. The debt account was not available. So the answer was no. Maya was quiet for a long time. Theo hated it. Part of him wanted to break the rule just to make the moment softer. But then Maya said something he did not expect. "I feel embarrassed. Not about the outfit. About needing the outfit to feel okay." Theo did not lecture her. He reached across the table. "I know. I feel embarrassed too." That was the first night the budget stopped feeling like punishment. It became language, a way to say what both of them were too proud to admit. Once the leaks slowed down, Theo built the debt plan. He listed every balance: credit card 1, credit card 2, medical bill, old furniture financing, a personal loan from a year they both wanted to forget. The total was still $14,860. He did not pretend one method was perfect for everyone. If the highest interest debt was damaging them fastest, they would attack that first. But if motivation was the real problem, they would start with the smallest balance to create proof. For Theo and Maya, proof mattered. So they chose the smallest balance first. Minimum payments on everything, extra money toward the smallest debt. One account gone. Then the next. Then the next. It was not glamorous. It did not look impressive. But it survived. That was the key. The best debt plan is not the one that sounds perfect on paper. It is the one the household can keep following when life gets tired, emotional, and inconvenient. 6 months later, nothing looked dramatic from the outside. Same apartment, same jobs, same salaries, same car, same kitchen table. But the numbers were different. Their total debt had fallen from $14,860 to $12,940. That was $1,920 of proof. Not freedom yet, but proof. They had also reduced the monthly leak by about $420. Less delivery, fewer random online orders, no new furniture, no emotional card swipes pretending to be emergencies. The first small credit card was gone. The payment from that card rolled into the next debt. And for the first time in a long time, the balance did not grow. That alone felt like breathing. Maya still missed the old flexibility. Theo still got anxious when the account looked tight. They still had uncomfortable conversations. But now the conversations had a place to go. The system held the pressure that the marriage used to carry. 1 year later, Theo noticed something strange. They were not rich, but the apartment felt quieter. Not because it was nicer, because fewer things inside it were borrowed from the future. Dinner tasted different when it did not become interest. A small gift felt different when it was paid in cash. A weekend felt different when Monday did not arrive with regret. Maya changed too. Not because Theo forced her, because the system gave her dignity. She did not have to ask permission for every small thing. She had her own money, her own boundary, her own part of the plan. Theo changed too. He stopped treating silence as kindness. He learned that avoiding a hard conversation was not protecting the marriage. It was leaving the marriage alone with the debt. And slowly, both of them stopped trying to look okay. They started becoming okay. The peaceful life they wanted was not built by spending more. It was built by needing less pretending. The real lesson is not that the wife is the problem. That is too simple and too dangerous. The real lesson is that debt becomes almost impossible to fix when a household has no shared truth. If one person feels responsible for the numbers and the other person feels judged by the numbers, both people will feel betrayed. One feels unsupported, the other feels controlled. One talks about math, the other hears criticism. One wants discipline, the other wants dignity. And both are partly right. That is why shame does not fix debt. Structure does. A household needs numbers both people can see. Boundaries both people can respect. Personal money that gives both people dignity. And a debt payment protected before lifestyle touches the paycheck. Debt payoff is not only a math problem. A 2023 paper on financial conflict in relationships notes that finances were the primary reason for conflict in about 40% of disagreements reported by people in long-term relationships. It is a trust problem. And trust grows when the system is clear enough that neither person has to become the villain. So if this is your life, if the income is the same, the job is the same, the debt keeps growing, and the household keeps spending, like the pressure is not real. Remember this. You do not fix debt by winning an argument. You fix debt by making the household honest. Stop the leak. Find the peace number. Protect the debt payment first. Give both people personal spending money. And stop using debt to buy the feeling of being okay. A peaceful life is not built by pretending the debt is smaller. It is built by creating a lifestyle the income can actually carry. What would help your household more right now? A bigger income, a stricter budget, or one honest money conversation? Subscribe to Theo Finance for more cinematic personal finance stories about money, psychology, debt, income, lifestyle pressure, and financial freedom. Comment peace below if you want part 2, where Theo builds the exact household money system that helped them pay off debt without destroying the marriage. Because debt does not only steal money, it steals peace. And the first step to getting peace back is telling the truth.